Good day, everyone. James Hicks here. Welcome to another edition of the Digital Collective. We have a fantastic episode today. I've got two champions of social media live streaming sitting in the back room here. We are going to be talking today about content creation workflow. Not necessarily just the gear, the equipment, and kind of the superficial aspects of content creation, but really want to talk about production pieces, talk about some tools, talk about best practices, and talk about ideas of moving forward and kind of leveling up your content creation activities and things along those nature. This is really the quarter, this is really the year to start thinking about rising up above the noise, about making yourself stand out, owning your content, owning your environment, owning your creation. So really wanted to gather some folks together and have a discussion. Really want to make this back and forth of a dialogue as well. So thank you for all who are joining. If you have a question, I got my phenomenal moderator in the chat right now in the comments already giving me a hard time, but I know that they're watching. And if you put a Q in front of your comment, it will get to the top of the list and we will be able to address that. But let me first go ahead and say, what it, they don't shave in Mexico. Yes, folks, I spent the last 10 days in Mazatlan doing a lot of resting and relaxation and letting my Movember beard grow. So, no, they don't have any razor blades or any shaving equipment there. So, um, I'm just going to leave it at that. Let's go and get started. Let me bring in my guests. I'm going to bring them both in at the same time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Matt Haas, Mr. Robert Lee.
Hi,
Gentlemen,
James.
how
Robert.
are you?
How's it going?
Oh, oh my
Always good to
gosh.
see you too.
Does Robert, are you not wearing your headphones? Why is there an echo there, man? You are a professional in this industry and you've got echo.
Maybe you might be hearing voices in your head. I don't hear anything. I don't know what you're talking
Okay, no, you fixed it right there, but real quick, I saw the hands moving real quick. No, but first of all, thanks you guys for taking some time. I know scheduling was weird. I again was an hour different when I scheduled this, and timing was a little off, but I think even folks who are not here live, the replay squad is going to be huge. We are using some new tools, new functionality as well. So we're utilizing one of the platforms we're going to talk about today, Restream, and using Restream pairs. So not only my channels, not only my Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and website channels are we streaming to now, but you guys have also paired this particular stream with some of from your social profiles. So I believe we're going to Robert your YouTube site and to yours as well, Matt. Is that correct?
I pushed this to my Facebook page.
Okay.
So you got one of
I
my
got one.
100
Okay.
social medias.
No worries. I tell you what, while I go through some of these initial comments, let me ask you guys, because I believe that's a new feature and functionality that you probably haven't had the ability to take advantage of yet. So, Robert, let me start with you. How was just when I gave you the link, right, for Restream
Yes.
pairs and utilizing
hmm
that technology to bring in your community and bring in your audience to this stream? How did that work out for you?
So the link you gave me, it's great. The one thing I learned about using Restream pairs is there are some things you have to watch out for before setting up, and that's when right before you post the what right before you use the link is to be able to update the description accordingly so that whether it's just minor things like grammatical points or descriptions. I streamed it into Twitter, and at the moment they don't allow you the opportunity to preview the stream before editing, so it doesn't appear until you go live. I didn't discover that until as I was configuring that, so it's only like with YouTube and Facebook you can adjust the text accordingly before pumping out the link for it to be previewed and then to go live there. So it's like little things like being able to catch those types of
Yeah,
adjustments
yeah.
is things that I always look out for, just because where it may be. I mean, with the proper timing, you can catch it and be able to make the adjustment. But for some people that may be new to Restream and not familiar with Restream here, it's something they should be aware of. So as I always advocate anyone that's getting into live streaming, just to be able to set yourself enough time to be able to kind of iron out these adjustments, so that way you
Good
don't get
point.
hot flat-footed. So
Good point. Maybe we'll talk to Anya and we'll talk to Grace over at Restream and give them our feedback for sure. While
I've got
we're
some
in,
comments about Restream if you want to hear them.
oh, I know you've got some comments. Look, let me tell you something. I'm holding you for just a minute, man, while we get all the particulars ironed out. Robert, while we're in this particular scene, though, if you could kind of, as we talk behind the scenes, if you could adjust your framing, because your that lens that you're using. What lens are you? Oh, yeah, never mind. You're using
yeah,
that Logitech
so
thing. We won't talk too much.
I'll just see if I can just kind of reposition so I'm not too
I
big.
know
I
what
know
I'm
I
sending you
still
for
got a big head
Christmas.
to begin with.
Yeah, I've got something that I'm sending you for Christmas. It's a Sony, and you're gonna like it. So there you go. Now you're better, Mr. Haas. Talk to us a little bit about the whole Restream usability. Anything that you may have
Okay.
run into.
Well, the Restream pair stuff, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, period, full stop. Also with Restream, the thing with the Restream pairs is more of a business decision,
Mm,
because if you are putting a show where you're a guest through your own channels and the show launches and I'm not on the frame the first moments that it goes live, that could confuse my audience.
that's a good point.
So I restream the Venture Forward with John Ventrini. We do a 6:30 Eastern show on Fridays, and we change the format of the show where when he comes on, hello internet, we're both on the screen. And I think that's a little less jarring because I don't want to confuse my audience very much. And I also have one wish list for Restream, because you have a relationship with Restream, don't you, James?
Yes, yes.
Melanie might also. I don't know.
Oh, she knows everyone. Look,
Here's
MDH
my
knows
plea.
everyone.
Someone who is in with the management over there. I have one request, and that is the Restream chat application, because they have their own app that launches. Okay,
You're literally hitting home with the conversation that I had with her earlier today too. So go ahead.
this app has you do the reCAPTCHA, and that reCAPTCHA is Satan's spawn. It is the worst thing to put in an application.
Yeah.
And I guess they've made reCAPTCHA even worse lately, because you have to pick those Hollywood Squares images, but then it replaces the image you've clicked with a new image that might require clicking. See, normal UI means you click a tile and then you're done with that tile. Like you've exhausted all of your actions on, but no. And so I go 4, 5, 6 rounds on this thing. I'm taking off my glasses. I'm looking.
Look at this guy.
I can see the
he's
square.
hot.
It's got to come off.
Bring that
It's
fire
gotta-
back real quick, Robert. Bring that fire, because Matt's on. Matt, he's dropping
I'm catching
today.
the heat from him, so
Man.
let me see if
Okay.
I can try to cool off.
And here's another thing. I already have two-factor turned on. So it's not like you have to do reCAPTCHA to make sure to be safety, there's some kind of security. That's all bunk. This reCAPTCHA is giving no redeeming value to the product. Please have them take it off.
Those are good points, and there's still some things that are within the Restream login and dashboard that show that they're deprecated, right? They like the scheduler. There are a handful of things that they're working on so much. They're trying to do good work. I mean, decent platform, great platform. We're going to talk about them here a little bit more here in a minute. But there are some things, kind of like you're saying, the reCAPTCHA and the scheduler and the whole chatbot issue. While it serves a great purpose of being able to pull in all of the comments from the different platforms, it's a little kludgy. It's a little bit kludgy. So let's go ahead and dive into kind of production platforms, right? And the majority of the ones that are out there, we've already hinted and talked a little bit about Restream and some things that we like, some things that we don't like. And I think that's the conversation that I want to have, right? That folks want to hear. But they don't want to just hear us talk like it's a commercial and we're affiliates and partners with any particular company and trying to push the link. I'd like what Matt was doing, right? Actually going down and talking about some of the pros and some of the cons as well, so folks can make an informed decision. Robert, I know you use vMix a lot, right? You're on the PC side, so you use vMix. I want to talk a little bit about Restream, vMix, StreamYard, and Ecamm as well, kind of as the main platforms that folks are using. I know there's BeLive out there. I know that there's Melon. There are some other folks that are kind of specifically centered towards specific social networks, but I think the four that I just mentioned there are the ones kind of I want to talk a little bit about. So let me go back to Matt because he's hot, and I want him to continue to have some discussion. Your platform of choice on a majority basis, what are you using, Matt?
Without a doubt, YouTube, baby.
Okay.
All things YouTube. I'm a YouTube streamer and content creator through and through. I do push things out to Facebook. I have a love-hate relationship with Facebook.
We can talk about
I
that too. We will talk about that because I got an announcement
I
that I'm going to
I
make. Yeah.
I stay off Twitter just because it's more of a personal choice, and I use many other social media platforms, not necessarily for video, to push people into the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I'll go to Instagram. I'll go to Instructables, which is a DIY type thing, very niche type of thing. Reddit, um, and I have a
Interesting. So
blog.
do you stream to Reddit or do they
I
have
don't.
that capability or?
I don't stream to Reddit. I don't think they have that capability.
Okay.
But if you can get in good with a popular subreddit and you know the mods, it can be content gold because you're picking up all those session starts, which is when someone comes onto YouTube for the first time, and
Mhm.
yours is that first video that they watch. Even if they watch 20 other videos that aren't yours, YouTube knows that you brought them because yours was the first video, and then they reward you. YouTube will want to repeat that behavior, so they'll push that video that you've entered
Got you.
in. It's a good thing. So I like the YouTubes, but I do stream into Facebook as well. I sort of have a disdain for Twitch, although I do have a Twitch account, and I am on Twitch as a viewer, and I
Okay.
participate in the Twitch ecosystem. There are many deficiencies with the management and the leadership and the product release cycle. There are countless things wrong with Twitch as a company and a platform, and I don't have a thriving community on Twitch because that's my choice.
Yeah. Well, and you think about it, right? Twitch has a different demographic as well, as opposed to kind of the content that we typically share, right? Twitch is started out and probably still is more geared towards the gaming community and folks that are vlogging all day. We just don't do that. We have other things going on. I can't just have this camera on all day, right?
Streaming is a brutal exercise, no matter what platform
Amen,
you
brother.
are
It is. That's why I got
on.
this gray hair. Yeah. Yeah.
It should be part of your content strategy. Those who try and make streaming 100% of their content strategy, it can be done. It's much more difficult to break out, in my opinion. Generally speaking,
Yeah.
there are obviously use cases where that's where it
Let me
works.
let me backtrack on a couple of things and ask because I specifically was looking for where do you initiate your streams from? I know you live on YouTube, you know, that's your go-to platform. You've got a number of fantastic channels there, but like when you initiate the stream, do you utilize Ecamm and multi-stream or do you use Restream and multi-stream out through Ecamm? What's your encoder, right? Or
It's
are you
Ecamm for
okay?
me
Okay.
through Restream for my morning show on Awesome Fun Things, but for all things YouTube, I am Ecamm straight into YouTube.
Okay. Okay.
I don't multi-stream my Monday 6:30 or 7 p.m. all things YouTube show. It's just that platform only, so I don't use Restream for
That
that.
makes sense. Okay.
I might in the future, but I don't think I'm going to. It's kind of odd doing a show about YouTube somewhere else.
Somewhere else. Yeah, that doesn't seem that didn't even sound right coming out of your mouth, right?
Yeah.
Robert, what about you? And before you begin, let me ask, because I see Keely Dunn here, and she's huge. We were talking about platforms. She's huge on Discord, right? She's got a large following. She's live streams into her Discord community, which is hundreds plus deep, right? If not more. So my apology if it's more than that. But have you utilized Discord as a platform for pushing your content out to your community as well?
I haven't yet. I just started to learn about Discord, so I'm still trying to get an understanding of the ins and outs as to what's the best way to utilize the type of content pushing out or the type of audience I'm reaching out. So that's something that'll be on my radar soon just to check out. I know, like, not to sound like a quarterback coach, but generally how I look at it, just based on my objective, like who the audience I'm trying to reach out to,
Mm,
and what tools that work to my advantage to get out there. So if I'm only, let's say I'm just trying to do a stream just purely to like a more professional business, I may do something like do a direct stream into LinkedIn Live through Restream. Recently, I had the ability to broadcast as a live stream LinkedIn a broadcaster, so I
mm.
may try to mix it up and do it directly from vMix, in those situations. If I'm looking to do something really, quick and straight quick and dirty not dirty, quick and easy,
Don't be
I may
dirty.
just go right into quick and okay, through the Restream studio and blast from there. Sometimes, like, if I wanna take advantage of the Restream, distribution, I may go from vMix into Restream and then go out to the platforms, whether it's YouTube or Facebook. So it's just depending on the situation, just kind of helps dictate as to which direction or which strategy I go out to. And it's helpful
Okay.
too, just for the fact that you get an opportunity to just kind of troubleshoot as to where the choke points may be when you're streaming, so that if if a person may have difficulty with their streaming, whether it's with their channels or just the workflow, it gives me a better position to help that individual or colleague or business to help them get their streams up and running. So.
I got you. So I want to pick your brain just a little bit more because
Mhm.
I know about Ecamm, Matt knows about Ecamm and know kind of the capabilities that side, but I'm selfishly curious to get a little bit more into the vMix side, right? And
Sure.
understanding how you can multi-stream, multicast from there. Why would you need something like, we haven't even mentioned like an OBS or something like an OBS or something like a Restream? Can you or can you not go straight from vMix into those multiple platforms? And is that something that should be considered for our PC brethren out there? Since it's solely PC based, right? You can't use or can you use vMix on a Mac?
PC only.
Only
Okay.
PC.
Okay.
So a lot of it just really depends on what the vMix relationship has with the platform. vMix doesn't have the LinkedIn API where they can go directly into LinkedIn, so they would need a third party like a Restream or StreamYard to be able to stream into LinkedIn. Others like YouTube or Facebook, they can stream right directly into it from the vMix software. So it just really depends on where you're streaming as to what relationship they have to be able to stream directly into the channel, or if you have to actually have other tools to pipe in there. So it just really depends on where you're going to be
Okay.
able to answer your
But
question.
see, I don't want to gloss over that, and I see
Yeah,
Matt kind of nodding his head too, right? Because you don't want to sleep on LinkedIn, right? Again, if you're
right,
trying to do business centric conversations and have a business centric audience, yeah, we can do that
right.
on YouTube and we can control that dynamic. But if I
Mhm.
can't go into LinkedIn and talk to my network there using a platform, look, vMix is not cheap, right? I mean, I've looked at it before with a good colleague of ours, Corey Sanders,
Yep.
who utilizes that, and he's dropped a handful of nickels on on the vMix platform. So the fact that they're not a licensed, authorized platform for something like LinkedIn seems to make me question that.
Right. Well, I mean, again, prior to the pandemic, the vMix has skewed more towards like production companies to be able to do like remote live streaming. So once the pandemic hit, I mean, it's just an explosion of folks just looking to find software that help them meet their live streaming needs. And the great thing about vMix is just that it has a lot more tools to give me different options to be able to stream. Whether it's if I'm trying to pull in a person into the call, they have a dedicated tool, vMix call, where I can bring up, depending on your software license you have, you can bring up to 8 callers right in your stream, so you
Yeah,
wouldn't need something like a Zoom to to get to get those folks in the stream. But it's like just like the versatility allows me to do, whether it's with Restream and StreamYard, for example. they don't have like the crossfade function. So if I want to switch from a different camera or from a different clip, it just does a hard cut, and it can be jarring depending on the type of material you want to present. Just to have that ability, just to either do a crossfade or actually,
Okay,
or
so
maybe
the
just go straight.
transitions that are integrated within VMix aren't as seamless,
Right.
and you're
So like when
pushing
I
buttons
bring
right now. Okay.
Yeah, so, like,
Okay.
when I do that, you don't see all of a sudden one image and then another one, so it's just the ability to have that ease into, like, another transition to, like, a different image. Little things like that really makes a difference in the production and makes the I was gonna say end user, but the audience a little bit less jarring to watch. So, things like that. It just really helps to not only just set your stream apart, but also just kind of give a little bit of a nice change of pace with the visuals in your stream.
Okay, so I tell you what, now perfect segue. It's almost like I've done this before, right? That's a great segue to identify some authority, right, in terms of who you two gentlemen are. And since you brought it up, Robert, I want to start with you. Just kind of give the folks kind of your background, your relationship to live streaming, video production, and things of that nature, and who is Robert Lee.
Uh, Hey, folks. So, my background, I've been in the video production business for the past 10 years. And prior to that, I've been been a marketing professional for over 20 years. So it gives me gives me a different view of looking at how the content's coming out, both as a marketer as well as a, a video profession, especially in live streaming field. And so, just to have those ability to look at different things give me an opportunity to try uh different things in terms of just shaking up the visual of helping the live stream stand out, or just to be able to experiment different types of content that get the audience attention. So for me, it just really depends on the challenge that presents me as a which hat I wear more, whether I look at it as a from a marketing perspective, or on a technical video profession perspective, or a little bit of both. It just really depends on what the situation calls for. So, um, and as a result, it you do have a lot of interesting projects or challenge, whether it's the creation of a program, whether it's behind the scenes, like the planning that goes into it, to really whether it's focusing on nailing your content as to what message you want to try to get out there, or just in terms of just the workflow of just getting the right images to help really punch up the point you're trying to make to your audience. So yeah, I mean, it's I guess whatever the challenge calls for, it just depends on what hat I wear and what what Robert Lee they want to deal with. So
Which Robert Lee do we get today? I love that. We'll probably come back to that in a minute. Mr. Haas, tell the folks a little something about yourself.
Hey, well, I have many YouTube channels, and if I did this correctly, should be look at that. Hey, I'm pushing buttons here, folks. So this is my media empire. We've got the YouTube channels over here, and I've got a couple Facebook pages. One where I just put taco memes out there every morning. It's a lot of fun. It's called Awesome Taco Memes. Look that up. And then we've got two Facebook groups. I have a woodworking Facebook group, and of course, my All Things YouTube channel has its own Facebook group. See, I do play in the Facebooks. It truly is love hate. Someone said it's a hate relationship with Facebook. I'm like, no, it's not. Uh, what else? Yeah, I do a lot of things online, and I like to do things online that I'm passionate about. I don't want to do anything where I'm not passionate about it. So when and if I ever think one of these YouTube properties is a grind, I'm going to step back and pull back and then just not do it anymore. But I mean, I'm trying to get people to grow an audience on YouTube. I'm very knowledgeable about YouTube. I follow the tech news. I was invited to Google for a meeting. I didn't go there just to visit someone. They wanted to talk to me, and Google owns YouTube. Um, I'm all in on the YouTube. I love the platform, and I understand the web architecture that these things are built. I've built medium-sized systems that nowhere to the scale of YouTube, but I understand how that's all put together. On my woodworking channel, awesome wood things. I cobble together interesting things out of wood that you wouldn't typically see out of wood, and bring the user along on my build process, and they get to see the item and how jazzed I am about it. That's a lot of fun. I'm learning to play this instrument here over 2.5 years ago. I started to learn, and I figured, hey, it's something I always wanted to do. So you can watch my progress as I get better at that instrument. And my awesome fun things is just my miscellaneous vlog channel. And I just share whatever I want, because although I have these 4 passions that I have on YouTube, I have many, many other passions. And not all my passions have a YouTube channel. So you kind of get all of that here. And that's kind of what I'm doing online. I think in 2022, I really need to um, define my business strategy a little bit better,
Yeah.
because I have the gear, I have the on-camera presence, I'm skilled with running and growing and leading an audience. I just think I really need to start figuring out, where do I see myself in 5 years? Because right now I'm just putting cool stuff out there on the web. I'm helping people where I can. I'm a former teacher. I love to teach. I think you learn when you teach, for sure. And that's just me. I'm an eclectic geek that loves efficiencies and making the world better. I
I
don't know.
love that. I love it. Thank you
Is that,
guys
is that
very
a
much.
good enough answer?
No,
That's
that's
what I
pretty
got for
good.
you.
And again, it's another great segue, right? Because I wanted to talk a little bit about tools that we can utilize, or that we do utilize. And Matt, you kind of pointed to a couple of things. One with the fantastic overlays that you were just pointing on the screen just now. So I want to talk a little bit about stream additions, something like Stream Elements, Streamlabs, tools like that allow you to push other content on the stream while you're actually having conversation, using WebMs, using GIFs and things like that. And then also, right, you've got so many channels. And Robert, you as well, you've got so many other digital properties. Talking about project management, tools that we utilize. I know there's ClickUp, there's Notion, there's Trello. There's a lot of other a lot of tools out there, similar to all of the Google Docs and all of those free products as well. But let's get into a conversation. Let's start with the project management piece. Robert, what are you using to manage your work, a day in the life of Robert Lee, right, with Shalala Productions, and just making sure that everything that needs to get done gets done, so to speak?
Well, I'm gonna sound like a Neanderthal for the fact that
Nothing wrong with
I
old
mean,
school pen and pad, brother. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, let's talk about it
yeah,
though.
it starts off like that just for the fact that a lot of times I just need to be able to throw out some different ideas to just kind of work out the flow and mapping, and then a lot of times just really taking some template sheets that I use, whether it's a shot sheet, in terms of mapping the shots, or like show flow notes, just to be able to help organize a live stream program, and then just I don't. I know Matt always jokes the fact that I'm terrible with the Google products like Google Docs, but even just like some of like the basic
They're free,
calendar
brother.
tools, yeah, they're free, just to help me stay ahead in terms of with the scheduling, and just I forget who it was that had mentioned that they try to shy away from taking notes and just try to structure it into the calendar as to things you do. So it's almost like I use like my calendar as to do slash kind of like a workflow as what needs to be done, just for the fact that to help me focus on the task at hand. I know, like I love the work Matt has done with Notion, just for the fact that it's a powerful tool, and
Yeah.
with the content he has, and I mean this the hinge on Matt's stuff. But I mean, it's just great to see just others, just to see the tools they use to help them organize and just really get the information out there. Um, but yeah, so it's a combination, like you say, some free tools and just even a simple paper and pen to help just to
Okay.
structure things.
I'm gonna recommend to you, if you haven't seen, since you're a pen and paper kind of guy, Rocketbook. Take a look at Rocketbook. You can write physically in a notebook. Where's mine? Well, it's too far to reach, but it actually has a electronic component to it as well, right? Where it'll actually transcribe all of your content via OCR, optical character recognition, into a digital format. So you can have that tactile advantage of actually writing down notes in a notebook and carrying that with you and being offline, so to speak, but then take a picture of that page and it'll optically character recognize that document and put it into a
Right.
digital format, which you can edit as well on your laptop or on your tablet, whatever the case may be. So take a look at that as kind of a tool to maybe look at for the old school pen and paper. But
Live Scribe.
Live Scribe, yeah.
Live Scribe is a good product too. I had that too, Robert. That's a pen where you write and it has a recorder on it and it records what you heard when you wrote it. And you can play back your writing and hear what you heard when you scribbled it. It's pretty clever.
I think they may have started a lot of the optical character recognition type of functionality, right? Live Scribe, but they've been around forever, and yeah, just gotten better all the time. But what about you, Mr. Haas? I remember we sat in class and we listened to the great Cat Mulvihill talk about Notion, and we learned. And you were sitting in the front of the room. I was in the back heckling. But talk a little bit about what you're utilizing.
I've got some stuff. Notion, I can show it to you if you want.
Let's do it, man. Let me get your big screen, brother.
I second that notion.
Yeah, switch my camera here. Hold on. We will go virtual cam. Boom. Hey, look at that. All right. So this is a public web page. See, I'm out here. I'm on. Well, you can't see it, but it's a web page. So I'm out here on Notion, and this I have a couple pages. You can use this little nav area to go to the different pages, and this catalogs my site and shows different content based on the page you're on. This is everything that's happening today and in the future. So this is my live show appearances. I've got the fire hose, which is all content from all 4 of my properties and other people's properties. See, you have some pixels on my property.
Love it.
And you can express this many different ways. You can see the calendar. Like, do you publish a lot of content? Look at all this content I publish. I'm going nuts with the content. But here's the behind the scenes. And your question was content planning. So this is what I do content planning wise. So let me kind of show you my database here. I've got icon, the main entry of the item, and then I catalog my channel, what type of piece of content it is, and if I'm planning development. And so I have a little bit of planning stuff here. I have a date field, but this really comes to life when I start doing full pieces of video content. This is something on my Piano Awesome channel. I did the cover of Michael Jackson's Thriller, and you get all this boring stuff. Now, this is going to be boring to look at, but it's actually quite fascinating because this is a content management tracking system. See how I'm tracking the physical assets? This exact file name is very critical for me to know, as well as the thumbnail. This is where it is finally published, the date, and then even some Final Cut Pro stuff. I've got the library in Final Cut Pro, the event, the project. This is how I can find it in my video editing software and where it's at, what folder it's in. So bottom line is I copy and paste just a few things, and then boom, it shows up here as an afterthought, or not an afterthought, as a nicety.
As your repository, so to speak.
Yeah. In other words, I'm using it to track my content, and I have the added benefit of getting something public that my audience can engage in. If they want to see where I'm at in the future, they can always just reload this page. Now, this is inside the Notion app, but it is out here on the web. There's a full web page, down here. I have it off the screen, the actual address bar. And then if they think they missed something, they can come to the fire hose, or they can go to future live shows. So Notion, and that's the way I do it. So I have an idea, it goes into planning. If I start shooting it, I flip it to in development. And then when it publishes, it goes published. And then that published field allows it to show up on the public pages on the future live stream event or the fire hose. Like it won't show up on the other areas unless it has that published
Got
flag.
you. Got
It's
you.
like a safety. So yeah, I'm all in on Notion, and it's always there. If I'm out and about, I can call it up on my phone. Um, I'll never lose it. And
Yeah.
Notion's 100% free. So
That's
hey,
the point
looking
that I wanted
forward to it.
to touch on right there. Right. Again, one of those very robust tools that does everything from project management to
Yeah.
project boards to those content calendars, content creation calendars, like you were just showing as well, and just being able to catalog and categorize all of your content. Because man, look, I've got more sticky notes around here than I'm not going to show it to you, but utilizing a repository system similar to Notion like that, and being able to work offline. Again, I've been on planes for the last 10 days and 30,000 feet above the air. I would love to take notes and be able to and store those somewhere. I use ClickUp, very similar, right? So again, I have that same capability, same function, and I bounced back and forth for a while. I just liked and fell a little bit more in love with the web clipping ability that the ClickUp tool has versus the one that Notion has. It just saved me 2 extra steps than doing it with Notion. But
Right.
again, does the exact same thing, and price is all of $0 for the
I love
solopreneur,
$0.
right?
And
Unless you
you
need to scale and have 10, 100, however many people and multiple collaboration pieces, that's when you start paying maybe the high price of what, $5 a month kind of thing. But yeah, for the most part, these types of tools are very, very reasonably priced. So
Yeah, use what makes sense for you. No, yeah, that's great. That's working for you. The image I was showing is all my hard drives. I have like a whole little stack of external hard drives because I save everything.
yeah.
Everything gets saved. And now that I have it cataloged, if I ever think, oh, I want to use that thumbnail image, I green screen myself I want to reuse myself. Oh, where was I can go to Notion, find the thumbnail, and it'll tell me exactly what the file name is and exactly what drive it's on.
Wow.
How sweet
That's
is
pretty
that?
good. You ought to fire up a service, the Matt Haas, I don't
Well,
know,
yeah,
video recollection service, and start charging people for spinning up that type of thing. Because I could use that as
I'm good at tracking assets. It's a full-time job. I was doing that. I tracked hundreds of thousands of assets a month for a major publisher, and it's better to find something and reuse something you already have than to remake it.
yep.
So it was a cost-saving type thing, and yeah, I got really good at that. My family photos. I have 130,000 personal photographs, all cataloged in triplicate. It's amazing. And 120,000 are of my son.
I love that. Can you beat that, Robert? There, he knows exactly how many of who and whatever. But that's just. But first of all, before you answer, let me give a shameless plug. Speaking of external storage, I don't know if you guys got a chance to check. Yesterday, I interviewed the CEO and founder of OWC, Mr. Larry O'Connor, and he was talking about storage capabilities, external SSD drives, and some new products that he premiered yesterday on my stream that actually launched today. So if you get a chance, definitely check out the session that I did with Larry O'Connor, the CEO of OWC.
I think I'm his ideal customer.
I think so as well. All right, for sure. Are there others? I mentioned Trello and ClickUp and Notion, and we talked a little about Google Docs. Are there others maybe,
FileMaker
again, from a
Pro.
project management perspective?
I use FileMaker Pro. That's what I started my geekdom in is FileMaker Pro, which is a desktop
Mhm.
database program, very similar to Notion, only it's decades old. And once I learned the fundamentals of databases and data relationships,
Mhm.
then I went into web development and I learned PHP and MySQL, and I've learned all of that. And then that just translates instantaneously over to Notion because it's all the same concept: databases, fields, relationships, stuff like that. So my contact list, I have a woodworking contact list. I have stickers that I don't know why this is the case, but in the woodworking maker world, we all have stickers and we trade stickers. So I get tons of stickers in my PO box, and I catalog in FileMaker Pro who gave me the sticker and their address, and then I catalog if I've mailed them my sticker. So uh, it's just stuck there. But that's the only other thing I got is
Okay.
FileMaker Pro and Notion.
And they're added to your Festivus list, right, for every year. People probably younger than 30 years old won't even know what I was just talking about when I said that.
December 23rd.
Yeah.
This is my show, Festivus.
Google Festivus, you youngsters, if you don't know what I was talking about there. Thank you,
Got a lot of
folks who are
problems.
for joining. We see folks that are coming in as well, leaving comments. Again, if you've got a particular question, we are just dialoguing. We're going back and forth, talking about specific things about providing strategies, providing best practices, some tools to think about when it comes especially to the content creation journey. A lot of us are in that field. A lot of us are in that industry. And we're talking about platforms. We're talking about tools, best practices and ideas. Next, I want to go into kind of what I alluded to. And I'll start with you, Robert, because you actually demonstrated some of that a second ago. Additions to a stream, right? Ways of enhancing not just the dialogue, right? The one-on-one interview or the 1-to-2 type of interview, kind of like we're doing now, but overlays, GIFs, animations, other WebM files, things of that nature. What do you use, and kind of give us an idea of a best practice or perspective of how and when people should use things like that, like you were doing with the fire, right? That you brought up just now. So talk a little bit about when you think and if you think people really should take advantage of some of those tools.
So a lot of it, the tools I use, whether it's the fire or animation, it's able to pull either images, whether it's stock or graphics or templates, whether it's sites like Envato or even Canva, and just being able to bring it into the vMix production software, and then just find creative uses how I can incorporate that into the stream. And a lot of it is just a matter of making sure as to what, not only that you can upload it into there, but just as to like what look I'm trying to give off. So whether if I'm just trying to like, if I just like to be able to bring this up, whether if Matt's come up with a hot comment, or if I just want to joke around on how like I think there may not be many people listening that I may get a cold reaction and have like snow.
Give yourself the cold shoulder. What's up with that, man?
Right, myself the old, and just it's just a matter of just being able to take those elements and just trying to find creative ways to be able to incorporate the stream just to help stand out. Because you, even though we always talk about it's all about the content and just knowing what your message is, and what it is that to help resonate with your audience as to what you're trying to say. It just kind of helps to be able to punch it up to just really breathe life into the stream. So I know, like, oftentimes I like to joke around, whether it's with Matt or even with my colleague John Kovaleski, if I'm just like to do a little banter, and I may just do something like,
see, folks, let me tell you
just
something.
to kind of
No,
make it funny.
a lot of times you'll do that, and I'll like have my monitors up and my earphones up kind of a little louder, and I swear you scare the hell out of me when you do that.
That's why, folks, it's always good to have pre-production to let people know that I might pull up that graphic.
Yeah.
Be ready for that. So that's something for folks to be aware of when you do something like that, because poor James there, it could really blow out his ears if he's not ready for it.
I'm past 52 years old. I am not. You can't be doing things like that to me without without some forewarning. But again, that adds a lot of character, a lot of personality. Kind of breaks up the, I don't want to say monotony, but kind of breaks up the discussion a little bit and adds, again, that personal touch to a lot of streams and all. Now, are you making those yourself, or where are you grabbing? I know you mentioned Envato, but are you making a lot of those elements yourself, or are you using something like? And I look at Matt because I want to talk about Streamlabs versus Stream Elements as well, because I know there was some discussion about that, and I heard Heather and Tom were talking about it about 30 minutes ago. Their disdain for Streamlabs today. But let me ask, where are you getting some of those tools from? I know I've used Placeit before. I've used Canva to create a lot of those properties as well. Crello, but let me let you interject.
Sure. So like the graphic I just pulled up was taking assets from uh, Envato and then
Okay.
just being able to work on the Adobe Creative Cloud to create that. So in some ways, it's like creating it my own, but just being able to have the assets to play around with. And there's other things like I know, like you mentioned, Streamlabs that folks have used. vMix, the software itself, have like some of the tools to be able to create your own overlays, whether it's their GT designer or they have some templates that you can use, some that may be animated or just or still, and just be able to play around to give it like different looks. So like if I were to do like a LinkedIn stream, and I don't think I have this resized, but and it looks like the logo got ripped off. Just something to be able to
Hmm.
flash like a lower third did that I was able to create from vMix as an example. So it just really for me, it's just using the tools that either I have within vMix or either assets I can acquire from a Envato or a Canva, and just be able to build within the Adobe the creative suites to just be able to create animation or graphics.
Okay. Now, is that the Adobe Creative Cloud that you use and that you're a subscriber to? Because again, I want to
Yes,
put all of those, get rid of all the assumptions, right? So folks know that that's something that you've got to pay for. It's like 19.99
right.
a month or something of that nature, I believe, right? So just want to bring that up.
And if you want the full suite, it's, I think, depending where you are, whether individual or professionals, between like 30 or 52 a month. So so yeah, so if you're gonna if you're gonna be an active streamer, you're gonna need the user tool, it's worth the investment. But if it's something you're not really sure, it's good to be able to just either try the free trials or just some of the samples, just to get comfort to know like if those are the tools you're gonna be repeatedly using,
Got you. Got you. Matt, I'm gonna
because it
go
does
over.
add
I'm
up.
gonna go over to you, but I want to address this comment here from Kevin. Yes, we are gonna do Team No Sleep tonight. There is a lot of content to talk to about tonight that's within the realm of sports and as it relates to social impact. So, Team No Sleep will be on tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific time over on my channel. So,
Good
Matt,
deal.
talk to us a little bit, man. What's wrong
I'm
with
a
Streamlabs? What's wrong with them?
I'm a Creative Cloud person. I make all my stuff through
Yeah,
Adobe products. I've
I've got
been
I've got
doing
them
Adobe
too.
products
Been
since
using them forever.
1988. Okay. I love Stream Elements. Stream Elements is awesome.
Mm,
As far as I know, it's completely free and it's great. And the thing about Stream Elements is it has APIs into the platform, so you can do live sub counts, you can do live tip counters,
okay.
you can do live super chat numbers and the names. When you're on vMix or Ecamm, again, I use Ecamm on Mac. It's static. Well, not static, but it's either an animation that you do that runs first frame to last frame, or it's just an image.
Right.
But Stream Elements can pull in those interactive type things, which I really love. No, nothing but good things to say with Stream Elements. Stream Labs OBS, I kind of always had a sketchy feeling about, because the name is so similar to OBS Studio,
Yeah.
but they're two separate companies. And Stream Labs OBS, which at one time it was PC only, it might still be PC only. Um, but that's neither here nor there. It's a paid service, so so here's a free open source OBS Studio, which I like,
Yeah.
and then there's this other thing that sounds the same, but it has a paid component to it. And really, that was their strategy. Their strategy was, when people search for OBS, they are the top one on the search results because they paid for the ads, and I guess over time, they hijacked it.
Yeah.
Now, is that illegal? No. Is it sketchy as all hell? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that all of their features are ripped off from other platforms. They have no original ideas. And this last thing they did, there was another streaming platform called, what is it, Live Me or Live Stream, or there's another streaming tool out there. And they ripped it off. Or was it even Twitch? I don't know. They ripped it off. Even the marketing page, it's element for element identical, text for text identical, even down to the user testimonials, the exact same testimony. The whole thing was just completely ripped off. And as a content creator, we are here to make original content. And there's a respect that content creators have and should have for other people making original content. This company, that concept is completely off the charts. And they even went to OBS Studio, Streamlabs OBS, went to OBS Studio, the nice place, and said, can we use OBS in our name? And the nice OBS Studio said, no, we'd rather you didn't. What did they do? The
Did it
evil
anyway.
Streamlabs OBS went ahead and used it anyway, and then trademarked it.
Oh, they
Again,
did.
yeah, not illegal, but sketchy
Oh,
as
dude,
all
that's
heck.
dirty. That's dirty.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I've never used Streamlabs OBS ever, and I don't think I ever will. But that's not to be mistaken for Stream Elements, which is a separate company,
Yeah.
and as far as I'm concerned, is amazing. And when you tip through Stream Elements, just PayPal takes their 2.9% cut
Okay.
and nothing else. They don't even take a cut of your revenue. So I tell my audience, if you want to donate where the majority of the money goes to your favorite streamer, and if they have a Stream Elements tip service, use that, because the host will get more of the cash. And I think that's important too. And if it falls right through, there's no, you have to wait for 3 days. It's just someone tips you, boom, it's in your PayPal account. So, and they can take credit card too. It's not just PayPal.
Yeah.
They can.
So it's integrated with like something like Stripe as well. Okay. I know
I'm
you.
not sure what they use, but it's all there.
Okay.
And Stream Elements takes care of all this stuff. And like, do you know how much engineering and web development they have to get all those live counts
Yeah.
programmed into the Stream Elements service? Like, someone did a lot of work, and it's being actively maintained, and they charge. Now, I have no idea how they're even making money, but hey, I'm
Word
there
of
for it.
mouth by real users like you, because that's what I was going to say. I know you use Stream Elements in a lot of your streams, and you have the lower third when someone drops you a super chat or drops you a super
Which I
thanks, or
took
whatever
all
the
my own
case may be.
photography. I use
Yeah.
the stuffed animals in my set here.
That's the
And
coolest
like,
thing.
someone tips me, the little piano beaver will come up and say, "Thank you for tipping me," and then walk off.
So I know like Melanie does that as well. She's starting to talk about integrating alerts and notifications and things like that into her stream. So and then making animated GIFs of actual personalized content, right? Of her dancing and like you with your stuffed animals, as opposed to going out and getting something that's stock or whatever the case may be. You know, I
And
like
that's
this.
future proofing too, because
Yeah.
copyright's a real thing, and it's a bag of hurt. So even if you take an image that you don't own and you use it, someone sometime, it could be years later, could smack you for it. And the last thing you want as a content creator is to deal with legal copyright issues. So I'm not playing that game. So I make all my own images, and I use royalty-free audio. And yeah, I'm forward thinking. I don't want someone to try and take me down. Like, I'm limiting people's chances of harming me.
You know, it's almost like did I share this document with you? I probably should have, but exactly the things in order that I kind of wanted to have from the Runner Show perspective, because that was really going to be the next conversation piece, right? Stream editions, so animations, logos, GIFs, images, and things like that. But now bringing it up to another level, a lot of times we'll have these high-end audio mixers, and we'll want to bring in sound effects, or we'll do like my intro and outro. You'll hear the music, and you don't want to mess with YouTube and copy. And if you get a strike, it's not good. They've got the power to pull your whole site down. Not just demonetize it. If you're monetized already, they'll pull you down. So Matt, let's start with you, and then Robert, I want to go into you in terms of what you're using from an audio perspective, right? Stream editions, still talking about that topic, adding into your environment.
Well, before I answer that, I'll just say that with my full-time job in publishing, I know all the legal information about copyright and trademark, which is different. So I know all the nuance about what that is. So if anyone has any questions, I'm a good resource for you. I love helping people. I use a woodworker friend of mine creates unique music and puts them on the web and has a declaration that he'll never strike your channel. It's worldwide available for free. He owns it, but you can use it for commercial purposes. It's called Ample Tunes. I probably shouldn't say it, but he only has
it's out there now.
He has less than 20 tracks, and that's what I do. He like this. Like my friend created that, but
I literally just flashed back to Studio 50. Well,
yeah, isn't it great?
To the late 80s just now. Again,
I
you
love
young
the
folks won't
70s
know.
Funkalicious type stuff.
Man.
Anyway, so I'm not using anything else. Well, I'll use YouTube's own library.
Yeah.
YouTube has its own audio library, so I'll use that, and I'll use one of the 20 tracks on Ample Tunes, and eventually I'll get the commercial services. I'll get what do they call? What's the one Peter McKinnon uses and everyone uses?
Epidemic Sound.
Epidemic. Like I'll eventually get an Epidemic Sound, because now I'm using Restream. Call back to our first topic, to stream the Venture Forward, and he uses Epidemic Sound clips in the beginning and end, and I'm getting copyright struck.
Yeah, because you can only have it on your channel.
Claimed.
Yeah,
I'm getting claimed, which is minimal hand slap, but I'm not getting struck, channel struck.
You don't want that.
But
I tell you what, hold on. I want to bring up this comment, and then I want you to play that tune one more time. Shouts out to Rich Fives calling from the UK. He's a DJ over there. He says it doesn't bother me because he's on Mixcloud. Matt, hit that 80s one more time. Man, you don't know what. Okay.
You feel me? You dig?
Sound like a little shaft right there, boy.
Oh, I know.
I gotta join in on this.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know where the stream is going, folks, but I tell you what, everyone here is smiling. I hope you are smiling too, man. That was for you, Rich. And
Rich's platform that he uses, Mixcloud, they have an agreement with the record label associations, the ASCAP BMI, and you can pump in as much commercial music and you won't get any channel strikes or anything. Now they pay for that, but they've brokered the deal, so good on them.
Yeah. What are you using, Mr. Lee? I know Melanie's talking about Stream Beats. I know they're out there as well for copyright free music. The YouTube library is growing, which is good.
I'll use Harris Heller stuff too. I use his stuff all the time.
So I used to be on Audio Blocks, but then I had tried. I have to be careful because sometimes I accidentally say epidural when I meant to say epidemic sound. But I tried that for a month, but then I couldn't justify the investment to continue. So then when I had the Envato account, they also have an audio library that I would use from there, as well as the sound effects. I've been using that a lot. But for client work, it's pretty much like whatever the client can afford. We just would pull the appropriate materials for them appropriately. So yeah, it just really depends on who's it for and who's it from and what we need to use. So
makes sense. But don't get caught in a strike. Just I want you, and I got one finger pointing out and three fingers pointing back at me, right? Just and to everyone listening and watching as well. Copyright free, please, is the way to go. Rich, we are not playing any more R. Kelly songs because we're not going down that route anymore, brother. You need to talk to Tall Boy about that. Maybe he'll play those, but I'm done with that. That's an inside joke. Epidemic Sound is the one that I utilize, and I've moved from, like I said, Place It had a decent library that I use for some intro and some outro tracks, but I don't listen to the radio anymore. And I literally would just have a playlist running typically in the background of an Epidemic Sounds playlist and looking for different tracks to add into my environment. I'm not sure if she's still here, but I know Keely Dunn uses something I believe called Audio, AUDIIO, I believe is how it's spelled. But there's a handful of places out there, reputable places. Don't just go out there and assume, folks, just because someone has a library or a catalog of music, that it is copyright free and actually endorsed by the copyright and the owner of that soundtrack, that it is what it says. So,
I have a comment about Epidemic Sound.
yeah,
Again, I don't use it, but my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, is when you download the tracks, you can turn off different instruments.
yes.
So if you just want the bass, funky slap bass beat, you can have it. I think that is an underrated feature because I would use the heck out of that.
Yeah,
sure.
you can get the stems, so essentially the individual tracks, and again, just have if there's a full instrumental, you can just have the percussion, you can have just the brass, or whatever the case would be, or whatever that you want. So that's pretty cool.
I think my next thing would be I need to get a B-roll account where
Yeah.
I can get free B-roll. Although I do have Adobe's, I have access to Adobe's. They've got their own
Right.
B-roll type place, but
Right.
I'm thinking about expanding that because I'm all about the edited videos, and you can slap some B-roll in there, and it can take your quality up
Definitely.
significantly.
Now, I'm gonna
'Cause-
challenge you with that, with the B-roll, and I'm pointing one finger to you and then three back at me. We've got all these fancy cameras, and we've got these phones with 4K video. We can go out and shoot our own B-roll and not pay anybody, because I'm using Storyblocks, right? And it also has fantastic images and video from a library perspective. But
Pixabay, that's Melanie. Yes. Now that catalog is not. I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I get excited about Pixabay because it's 100% free. Free.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
I can pay for free. But
I like that number.
Pixabay, the problem is their catalog isn't very robust. It has good stuff, but it doesn't have millions and millions of assets. But it's getting there. No shame. No, I'm not giving it any flack for having the number of assets it has. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I use Pixabay for my blog posts. So about 80% of all of the images on infotainmentnews.net come from Pixabay. If the client hasn't already provided an image to use with the post, I'll grab it from Pixabay. So that's a good point. Yeah.
there's a sound effects site I like too. It's called Free Sound. Let me pull it up here. Freesound.org. And that's for like, cymbal dings and, bass strums and explosions and some of my like that. And I'll have a cash register over in Bank 3. Like all that is from
You pressing Rodecaster Pro buttons too? I was just getting ready to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'll see your bank and I'll play you some crickets.
I love my Rodecaster Pro. What a wonderful piece of equipment. I can't say enough things about it. I mean, you could tell it was custom engineered originally for podcasting.
Yeah.
But it put everything you needed up front, and then everything you didn't need, it buried in its interface. And that interface on the Rodecaster Pro, it's just like an iPhone. Like sometimes this hardware you touch and the target is like 3 seconds after you touch it, or it's real slow. This thing is fast. And what device has a record button this freaking big? I mean, the record button is just massive, and that's how it should be. Some of these other mixers, like these 8 4 XLR in, and then 4 other types of they got a little tiny record button. It's just the same button as other buttons in the bank. I'm like,
right.
Rode did something really nice, and they used high-end internal equipments. They have the best preamps. They have the audio to digital converter, like high-end. I don't know. It is an amazing tool.
See how the conversation shifted when you started looking down at your RCP. We were talking about music. Well, it's in line. We didn't go too far off the wagon there, but it's all good.
Yeah. But,
I want to go back real quick to just a couple of the comments that were coming in about the assets, digital assets. Melanie was talking about Deposit Photos has a good variety and also very affordable. Look, $1 an image. Again, pay the money, folks. Just you don't want to get caught up in any type of strikes or dings or trademark negotiations that you might lose. Just always pay close attention to the various licenses for those free sites. Good point. There is
I've
a
got
lot
a
of
new
fine
comment
print
for
Yeah.
content.
Yeah.
This is going to be a little controversial, so
Oh my
maybe
goodness.
we'll ratchet up the quality here on the show. If you
Okay.
Well, then let me get off camera. There we go.
For custom graphic design, don't discount Fiverr. Fiverr.com, Fivrr.com, and you can hire a freelancer to make you something. And that is like a legitimate path forward. Sure, it'll cost you just a few dollars, but offload this labor. Graphic design, I think, is the one thing people don't think they need, but they actually need. People should
Wow.
understand color theory. They should understand concepts of white space. They should understand fontography, and they should understand kerning and other simple things that could just make, and they should have skills. Like, can you take a photo and put a color border around it? Can you put text on a photo? These are some skills people struggle with. And Fiverr's just sitting right there, 5, 10, 15 bucks. You can get a custom overlay or something done,
Right.
and you don't have to do it. So something to consider.
No, it's
I may do
definitely
one
worth doing
better,
that.
Matt.
Yeah.
Just to add a point along with Fiverr, if you know local talent, I mean, I'm fortunate that I know folks in the graphic design, editors. If you know someone that can do a bang up job with the animation, whether it's doing intros or outros and stuff like that, I usually like to deal directly just because of the relationships that I have with them. And actually, as I promised to James to give a little bit of exclusive news there. Um, Next month, or actually at the beginning of December, uh, I know like before I've had some problems to be able to get on to do like live streaming programs. So I paired up with another colleague that we both know from our Lita days, Xanthe. Oh gosh, she's gonna kill me for not pronouncing her last name. Sirocco, but and she's based in Sweden, so we're gonna be doing like start doing a monthly program about the pop culture. It's called Pop Goes the Stream. A big thanks to my brother Josh for coming up with the name with the name. And so I reached out to an editor I had worked with before, Rhiannon Eibel, to put together a introduction animation for the show. So to be able to reach out to folks that I've worked with before or just know that can do killer work is another great option, just to be able to not only pump up your live stream, but just also kind of infuse like some fresh talent into the mix there. So which is a fun thing. So there you go, James.
Dropping, knowledges and coming here with highlights, headlines. Say it one more time. What's going on for the people like me in the back of the room? Say it one more time. The name of that stream. Pop goes to what?
Pop goes the stream. So it's going to be covering pop culture.
Yeah.
Whether it's in the entertainment, the comics, movies, what have you. It's just a nice change of pace, just for the fact that I always kind of like take shots at my own self, but sometimes like if people want a little bit of variety from the day in day out of all the content pushed out there about video marketing, video production, what stuff like that. This is just me, just being able to just kind of kick back and just kind of talk about stuff that I like to geek out about. And she's, I know I'm gonna probably have to do my best to keep up with her, but it'll be fun. Just two folks coming at it with a different point of view on the subject there. So
I love
Speaking of pop culture, James, like
yes.
you know I love you. Like I know you know that.
Oh,
but
what did
I will
there's
just point
the
out,
but. Oh, jeez. What did I do now?
I will just point out
Okay.
that I skipped Ghostbusters Afterlife, the premiere, to be here on your show. So I really love you. Just so you know.
You're a good man. I appreciate you, man. We appreciate you for coming and spending some time with the community. That's real, right? There you go. Make it plain. I don't know where to go right now because now I'm slightly confused. I heard the Amazon man showing up, so I've got some new goodies for the studio that just showed up. I heard the dog barking. Yeah, there's some things that are showing up. There'll be some unboxings a little bit later.
All right.
Two more things, and I want to go into some of these comments that I favorited here. We were talking about assets and other tools to use. Melanie was bringing up, talking about Upwork as well. We talked about Fiverr. I know a good colleague, friend of ours, John Pullum, uses Fiverr, and he's showed me and given me some insights on some folks that he's used, and some of the intros and the web graphics that he's commissioned are awesome. So take a look at Fiverr, take a look at Upwork as well, and then listen, Canva is blowing up and doing things about like every 6 hours. There's a new update within
Adobe
Canva.
Spark is Adobe's version of Canva. It's called Spark, and it's free to use. I don't think you even have to have an Adobe account.
That is true. Yeah. The Spark part is free. You don't need the full subscription to use that. So there's tools out there, and I will do my best due diligence of grabbing as many of these links that we talked about, put them in the description, and share them with you guys. So if you want to put them in your show notes, there's a lot of them. Maybe I need to fire up Notion or something and start tracking this stuff. And you're right. You are a wealth of knowledge there, MDH. Pop goes to stream. Thank you for putting that on December the 2nd at 3 p.m. So again, we're a global community here. What is that? Is that Eastern Standard? I know it's Eastern Standard, but I need you to be specific with that, sir.
That would be Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
My apologies, because I believe Sweden's 6 hours ahead, so it'd be 9
Oh,
o'clock.
geez, yeah, and she's in Sweden. Come on, that's like Paul Weber right over in London, right? And trying to figure out it's midnight there for him right now.
I know. So it's.
Can you give a message to her from me, Robert?
Or she may be watching this, so go ahead.
Tell her
on the replay.
I like Sweden's vodka. They make good vodka. You wouldn't know it, but they make great vodka. In Åhus, Sweden, and the A, it starts with an A with a circle over it, but it's pronounced Åhus, Sweden.
Oh wow.
That's good stuff.
I almost thought you said Toll House. I'm like, I don't remember them making vodka.
Stay on point there, Mr. Lee. Come on, stay on point.
I'm trying.
I want to be cognizant of time, but what I'm loving is the dialogue, and what I'm loving it between the three of us, and also the collaboration and the engagement with folks watching and listening. I knew this was going to run long. That just means we got to do it again, because there was a couple of other things I really wanted to get into. I wanted to talk about, again, best practices, and maybe we'll reschedule another session, because I wanted to talk about scheduling tools. What do you use when scheduling guests on the stream? Something like a Calendar Hero, Calendly, or do you just send out a regular old Gmail? Tools for what do you do before going live? Kind of your tech checklist. Say that 3 times when you're drunk, right? Your tech checklist, right? Making sure the lights are right, making sure your browser's refresh, making sure that the camera is in the right mode, making sure all of those things, right, need to be discussed as well. So I want to have that conversation. What do you got there, Matt?
My checklist is there. If you sign up for my email newsletter, you get my checklist.
Shameless plug. Look at you there, brother. Shameless plug. Send that to me in the private interview chat right there, and I'll make sure that's included.
You got
it. And then the next session, I want to talk about some of these other tools, like Melanie's talking about Wave.video. I'm looking at that, right? Trying to figure, should that fit? How can that fit in kind of into my workflow, into my work stream as well? Easel, are they free? I think you got to pay for Easel, but again, there's a ton of stuff that's out there, and a lot of times we've got the blinders on because we only hear about 2 or 3 primary platforms or primary tools that other folks are utilizing when they may not be the best thing for us in our individual situation. So having the conversation amongst us, having the conversation, the dialogue amongst the folks in the audience helps them to make an informed decision. So let me take a look here. The comments, you should be out of daylight time. Well, no, I don't know what it is. Again, I'm just back in the country for the last 24 hours. I don't know what's going on. I'm still on Mazatlan time, so I don't know what's happening.
Vote Matt Haas for president, and I'll get rid of daylight savings time. It'll be my only campaign promise.
I don't know what else to say. With that, you know what? I can't. I don't know what else to say. I'm normally not at a loss for words, but you may have my vote, sir. You may have my vote.
I'm looking for a campaign manager, so be careful. I might hit you up.
Be careful what you do. On the out, folks. I tell you what. Let me go around the horn here, and first and foremost, say thank you to everyone who joined in. The technology worked the way it was supposed to. The fact that we were able to share the stream on multiple platforms and get a diverged community. Oh, I've never used that word before, but a converged community talking amongst us as we work through some of these challenges and opportunities for folks again in the content creation ecosystem. Hopefully this helped. Hopefully we gave you some nuggets of information, something you can go take a look at. Robert, let me start with you. Tell the folks just in summary where they can find you and maybe just something that you've got going on in the short term future.
So if I'm gonna start. We're not in LinkedIn, but if people were connected with me LinkedIn, they could always just send me a message there, or if you want to connect with me, you could also send me an email at robertl@shalalalapproductions.com. That's three laws. So, and also, or if you want to reach me on my YouTube channel, that's on Shalala Productions. You can send me an email there as well. In terms of things that are cooking, like I mentioned earlier, there's Pop Goes a Stream that's coming out on December 2nd at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's a couple others I can't confirm as of now, just because like cross the I's, no, like cross the T's, dot the I's. I never, as Matt can attest, I'm not really great with um, yeah, that kind of stuff, that kind of
Analogies.
phraseology. Thank you. Analogies. But hopefully when we get close to sorting that out, I'll have more announced soon. But that's where folks can reach me if anyone has any questions on video production, live streaming, or just want to say hey, what's up. So there you go.
Sounds good. Don't let Matt, make you nervous while you're on camera. Don't let him do that. I know he's very intimidating.
He's a potential candidate, so you never know what can
I know,
happen
right?
if he gets
You got to be
elected. So
careful when you're talking
yeah,
to someone who may be high ranking and high in power like that. But
yeah, you
Mr.
never know.
Haas,
It's
talk
only
to
in
us.
my own head. Only in my own head. About the easiest thing is to get me at allthingsyoutube.com, and then it'll link out to everything. All of my web properties, you could get me at those email addresses. Just put MATT at the front. But allthingsyoutube.com is probably the easiest place. And if you want to see all of my stuff, it's there. And just for funsies, you can go to wizardofhaas.com, and it'll point you to all of my properties as well. So I'm
See,
just having fun.
I saw the little taco there too. So at next conversation we're going to have as well about domains, short linking, right? Something like a Rebrandly or a short.io, Bitly, those types of things, and the value of that, the value of having for us in the content creation world a .live domain. I mean, there's so much value in that, and I want to go deep into that conversation. So I'm stoking the fire, folks.
I know a
Subscribe
lot
to the
about that
channel.
topic.
Yeah,
I bought 107 domain names throughout my life, so I know a lot.
I love it. And where did you? We'll go into it. Where did you buy them from? Did you go to like the GoDaddy? And shouts out to Paisley, who is now part
Hover,
of GoDaddy.
GoDaddy, and DreamHost.
Okay, okay, I love it,
I don't use
folks.
GoDaddy anymore. I've cut GoDaddy out of my
We'll talk
business.
about
You
that
will.
because
Okay.
my host Paisley just joined with GoDaddy, and they are a dedicated server hosting platform. So you're not on a shared
The
environment.
thing I like about GoDaddy, 24/7 live person-to-person
Yeah.
technical support.
Yep.
If it wasn't for GoDaddy, I wouldn't be where I am because I had a lot of questions and they helped me.
I've jacked up my DNS a number of times, and at 2 o'clock in the morning when I got a glass of scotch in my,
Yeah.
we don't have to talk about that either. But
They're a good company. I'm not using them because I don't like them. I just phased them out because it was convenient. But yeah. Yep.
Facebook
They
user says, my brother-in-law is a great leader there. Whoever that Facebook user is, next time there should be a link to authenticate so we can definitely see you are. But we
tell
appreciate you
your
for joining.
brother-in-law I like their sniping service. You can pay them to get you domains that someone else owns, and then when they forget to put the payment in, they'll grab it for you.
think
I
that
used the
was
service for
Chris.
10 years. For a decade, I used that service at GoDaddy, and it finally worked.
It's all good. Folks, we
Well, that was
appreciate
from-
you. Matt, get over there, watch your show. What were we trying to watch? Star Wars or something? Empire
Oh,
Strikes Back.
no, the movie. It was Ghostbusters
Ghostbusters.
Afterlife.
All right. Hopefully you got a
But,
DVR. Go check it out. Robert, go do what you got to do. I know you got some construction you said at the estate there, so make sure that happens. And
well, thanks God they weren't hammering when we're talking. That's for sure. So
that's why we're getting offline right now, so it doesn't happen.
good idea.
I appreciate you guys. Everyone in the community, you guys take care, be well, take care of yourself. We out.
Take care, everyone.